Hi everyone, welcome to Rack and Arrow Outdoors. Today I'm going to be building my new hunting arrow for this season. I've chosen to go with the same arrow, an Easton Sonic 6.0 with a 500 spine. I am 5'2" and my draw length is 25.5 inches, so not very much of a draw length, but we're trying to change things up a little bit this year. Last year I shot a 365 grain arrow with about a 15% FOC. I was really happy with that arrow for penetration wise. Because my draw length is shorter and I'm shooting a 50-pound bow, I was hoping that I would get a better penetration with a heavier arrow. The issue that I'm running into is that my arrow flight is a little bit arky, essentially. So it's dropping a lot and I'm having a lot of difference between pins. Even a couple of yards makes a big difference. So while I did end up getting the biggest black bear I have ever shot last year, as well as my first muley buck, and I had good penetration with both, I think that I need to lighten things up a little bit because I'm having a little bit of trouble with my sight view at further distances, and the drop is just quite significant. So I'm going to lighten up to a 332 grain arrow this year with a 12% FOC, and we'll see how that goes. Going through all of the things that we're going to be doing today. So essentially I bought the Easton Sonic 6.0 500 spine with the pre-fletched blazer vanes. So we're looking at 6.7 grains per inch on this arrow, and I'm cutting it to 26 inches. So total arrow weight, not including fletchings, is 174.2 grains. The fletchings are just your basic blazer vanes. They have been factory pre-fletched with a 3-degree helical, a right facing helical. So I like the helical pre-fletched because I am hunting in southern Alberta, southeast southern Alberta, and we get a lot of wind, and I find that this helps kind of stabilize the arrow a little bit when it is windy. And each of these vanes weigh about 6 grains, so a total of 18 grains on the fletchings. I am also switching out from a 50 grain insert. These are just a 6mm Easton insert, weighing in between 18 and 19 grains depending on the insert. So I'm going to be switching those out a little bit today, so that's going to lighten things up on the front end slightly. I will be shooting the Halo Lighted Nocks this year. I haven't tried these out yet, but I'm going to give them a go this season. These weigh about 22.5 grains, and the Easton Sonic 6.0 takes a H bushing for these ones. So that's my lighted knock. I like that because this year we're going to try and film a little bit more, and it's easier to track your arrow when it's lit up. So that's the reason for that. Finally, we are going to be trying out the Beast broadheads this year. So this is a first for me. Previously I was shooting 100 grain Grim Reapers in a 3/8 inch, and I really 1 3/8 inch, sorry, and I really liked them, but I was having problem with kinetic energy. Obviously I'm only shooting 50 pounds, and when they open up I do lose significant amount of energy. So I thought, why not try the Beast broadheads, since they kind of move around, they're supposed to move around bone and things like that. So I thought maybe that would help with my kinetic energy. So we're gonna give them a try this season and see how they go. Total arrow weight, like I said, is going to be 332 grains. So that's about 33 grains less than what I was shooting last year. So I'm hoping that that will flatten out my arrow slightly, but still give me enough front of center and kinetic energy that I can get at least a pass through, maybe at least poke out the other end, so that I get a good blood trail. All right, so next step is cutting the arrows, so let's get started. So I have my arrow saw set up here in my garage, and I am setting the slide part, which is closer to the nock, to 26 inches in length, because that is the length that I want to cut my arrow. I place the nock end first and then gently put the end that I want to cut towards the saw blade, twisting it around in a circle so that it cuts straight and even. If you were to just cut it straight across, you would have it on an angle, which would not be ideal. All right, so our next step is to make sure that we brandish off any of the shards or unevenness in the end of the arrow that we just cut. So we are taking our little brandishing tool, sanding it down, and then we are going to clean out the inside of each arrow. When we cut the arrows, we get a lot of dust from cutting the arrow inside of the shaft. So in order to make sure that our epoxy cures properly and securely, I just take some isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip and place it inside the shaft. This is going to help clean it and make sure that the epoxy cures properly. So next step is going to be inserting and gluing in or epoxying in our inserts. However, we have to take our nocks off first, because if you don't take the nock off first, it creates kind of like a vacuum inside the shaft. So then when you put these in, sometimes they'll get sucked in. Now, these ones have an edge on them, so they're not going to fall through. So when I put that in, this is gonna prevent it from sliding back. I have to take my nocks out anyway because I'm replacing them, so I'm going to do that. But if you have a smooth insert that does not have that kind of ridge on the end, then you're definitely gonna wanna remove your nocks before you place these inserts with epoxy. Now, to get your nocks out, you're just going to use a pair of pliers and just kind of twist back and forth until they come off. Sometimes they can be really tough to get out, so you just kind of gotta twist them. And then they come out. All right, so now I have all of my old nocks out, and now I'm going to put in my inserts. The epoxy that I like to use is the Gorilla Glue epoxy. Sometimes your arrows will come with epoxy from the brand that, like, Easton used to put epoxy in their arrow boxes, and then I don't know if they do anymore, because I usually buy these online from wherever I can get them, because 500 spines are very hard to come by, unfortunately. But anyway, I like to use the epoxy Gorilla brand. It works really quick, it sets really fast, and I can seal it up and use it again and again and again. And I've been using this for years now, and I have never had an insert move or come out on me. So I really like it. All right, so we just have to make sure that when we push this out, that they both come out around the same time. So I always find that yellow one wants to not come out as easily, but you don't need a whole lot. That's probably too much. Make sure you put your cover back on right away so that your ends don't set. Mix them together until they're completely combined. Once your epoxy is completely mixed together, you're gonna wanna make it so that your arrows are overhanging from the table. So where I am set up, I have my fletchings overhanging from the table so that they lay completely flat. So the reason why I want them to lay completely flat is if they sit up on their fletchings, they're going to be at an angle, which can cause your insert to slide out as it sets. So you want to really make sure that they're nice and flat and that they're not moving around. You're just going to take your insert and just make a little bit of a twist in it so that you have it completely covered around the edges. You don't need a lot here, you just need a little bit. And then you're going to take that and place it in. Place it in as straight as you can. Wipe off any extra. And then you're gonna twist it in. Twisting it around in a circle as you push it in. And that's just gonna make sure that it coats all around. Now, these ones, like I said, they have that ring on the end to prevent them from going in, but you still just want to use this little guy to help push it in and try and make sure that you're pushing it in as straight as possible. Because if you have the other inserts, they might go in on an angle. If they go in on an angle, then that can mean that your broadhead will sit on an angle and your arrow won't fly perfectly true. So we're just gonna keep doing this, working through each one. We gotta move a little bit quick here because this epoxy sets up pretty quickly. All right, so here we have it. This is my fully built Easton Sonic 6.0 with a 3-degree right helical, a halo lighted knock, and our Beast broadhead at 100 grains, 2-inch cut. I'm really excited to run this arrow. I'm really hoping that it's going to be a flatter shooting arrow and that I'm going to still get the penetration that I want and also increase my kinetic energy a little bit. I'm hoping that by switching to a little bit of a lighter arrow that I can get a little bit more out of my Spot Hogg sight. Currently I can shoot out to 70. I'm hoping that with this arrow I can at least get out to 80 or 90, so that I can shoot a little bit further in practice, because we all know the further we shoot in practice, the easier those longer shots feel when you're out in the field. All right, this is Pam with Rack and Arrow Outdoors. I hope you enjoyed this arrow build video. My goal is to get out and shoot these, get my bow sighted in, and then give you an update on how they are shooting. Until next time, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Have a great day, and we'll see you again real soon.